generative AI and the fears around if AI is going to take up jobs and will make you jobless, if at all, what are the jobs that are going to be most impacted? Now, a study by Pearson Skill Outlook suggests that if you are a white-collar worker, 30% of your job can be done by generative AI.
Yeah, so I think it's fairly obvious, and this has now been cited by Pearson Global Skill Report, suggesting after studying over 5,000 job roles across 5 countries, including UK, US, Australia, Brazil, as well as India, that out of the 5,000 jobs, both in the blue collar and the white collar, differentiated job profiles, it's fairly clear that the white collar jobs are more at risk than the blue collar jobs. And in that, there is, of course, also a segmentation which Pearson has been able to do, suggesting that the accounting jobs and the more sort of repetitive jobs in nature, repetitive jobs and more automated sort of jobs where you're forwarding calls or, calls
Receiving
being taken
calls
on the reception, all those jobs are going to be very easy to, to let go of human beings
so
and getting machines to do it.
Absolutely. Anything that is repetitive, anything that requires you to do the same thing over and over again without putting much of your brain and mind to it.
Yeah. So I think, the study also says that as much as about 30% or so of a week's work done by white-collar labor is repetitive or sort of, brainless enough in nature that a machine can easily do it. And the report compares this with just about 1%
of the blue
collar jobs. And that again, Shweta, is fairly obvious. I mean, unless you were to look at AI in the context of robotics and both these flourishing very well, can you really have a machine, a generative AI machine drilling a hole in your wall? Can you get a plumber? Can you get a mason? Can you get a carpenter, replaced with a generative AI? So we are specifically talking Gen AI. We are not talking AI plus robotics. And I think with robotics, it becomes a very, very different playing field. But generative AI is more likely to impact as much as 30% of the weekly work done by white-collar laborers as compared to just about 1% of the weekly work done by blue-collared workers.
This is quite in line with what we've been saying here at Newsline for a while now, having spoken to all the experts in the generative AI space, and that is a AI machine or AI per se may not replace you as a worker, but if you are somebody who knows how to use AI, you would be in demand.
So I think when we spoke to even Prabir Jha, a headhunter, and especially somebody who has great expertise in hiring for the IT sector, staffing for the IT sector, I think the message was very clear that AI and human intelligence needs to work in tandem. Human beings need to learn AI. Human beings need to be trained on artificial intelligence and those tools to be able to do better in their jobs, to be able to perform their existing roles better and augment what they already know by use of AI. But is AI really going to immediately replace or even subsequently replace human beings? That still seems, like a fairly large distance to go before something like that may or may not happen. But I think AI and human working in tandem needs to be the formula. You need not be 100% dependent as companies or organizations on human beings. Their work can be augmented, made more efficient, lesser time, lower cost by using AI. But then that also gives human beings a chance to upskill, and it gives the human staff at any sort of white collar jobs to not do the mundane, rudimentary, repetitive tasks and use that time better to perform tasks which are far more valuable to the company than something that a machine can do.
Right. So skill, reskill, upskill, if that is the mantra going forward, if you are to sustain and find yourself employable in an AI world, perhaps in the year to come.